Yes. So got it.
All right, so we're joined from Brunswick, Georgia, by my guy Adam Martin, the owner of Port City Nutrition there on the Atlantic coast. We thank you so much for joining us. This is our entrepreneurship class. We got a room full here with us at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for our friends at Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, Madison Central High School, and our YouTube channel. So thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule today.
Hey, man, thank y'all for inviting me as always. And I got a shout out. I'm a Ridgeland High School graduate. So shout out to the Titans. Class
Yeah.
of 05, I believe, second class to ever graduate from Ridgeland High School. So I'm just a hometown boy. Been a little bit everywhere, but I'm just a hometown guy. So
Yeah, and my friends Kathy Evans will be showing this in her entrepreneurship class over there at Ridgeland High. So I know they'll be glad to see her at Ridgeland High alone.
awesome.
But so all right, so tell us about Port City Nutrition. Tell us a little bit. You're from Ridgeland. You
Yeah.
got into this business. Hold on, I'm getting buzzed by the office. One moment.
All right.
All right, we got buzzed there. So yeah, you started this business. You got into this business first here. It took you all the way to Colorado in the Loveland,
Yeah.
Fort Collins area, and then you got over here. Where you are now on the East Coast. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this and what it is and how it runs.
Yeah. So I actually walked into one of these nutrition clubs back in 2014. I believe it was May of 2014. Early May, end of April, early May 2014, in Ridgeland. And I walked in, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never been like a health nut or anything like that at all. Was never and I tell people all the time to this day, like before like a shake or any kind of herbal tea or anything like that, I'd never had one before that day that I walked into that nutrition club in Ridgeland, right? And so yeah, it just wasn't my thing. Like I didn't care. Like I was 27, just turned 27 years old. It just wasn't on my radar. But then anyway, so we went in there for a quick lunch, and I walked in, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The shake was really good. I had an Elvis shake, which is peanut butter. I had a chocolate Elvis, it's peanut butter and banana. And then I had an energy tea, and it gave me some energy. But it was the first thing that really caught my eye was there was a blonde behind the bar, and long story short, I went back for 2 weeks, and I really did like the shake and everything. But I went back for 2 weeks until I could get a date with her. So that's really what got me kind of started with it. And then I found out, and I felt like how good I was feeling by actually putting in good nutrition and taking care of myself. And then I realized that there was a business opportunity there. And
Yeah.
that blonde ended up moving up to Oxford and taking over or running our business mentor store for them up there. And that's really what got us into it. And I say she moved up there because I couldn't move at the time because and Greg knows this, but I was currently on house arrest. At the time, I'd been locked up, and I had just gotten out, and they put me on house arrest, and so I had a year to serve on house arrest. I had a 5-year sentence, a little bit, and so this goes to show you guys, like, it doesn't matter what your background is or where you come from, like your past doesn't determine your future. Okay.
Absolutely.
My wife and I have been able to create a tremendous business, and what I'm about to say, I'm not knocking college by any means. College is great. It's for a lot of people. But my wife went to college, got a 4-year degree. I did not go to college. We ended up in the same exact place. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, you take your path. Okay, and it's your journey and it's your
Absolutely.
race. And I always like to say, you run your race. Okay. Yeah. We don't have to do what the person next to us does to be successful. Okay.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I had my checkered past, and I did that, and this also gave me something positive to focus on and make it a positive impact in helping people. Okay. So I moved up there actually, right after I got off house arrest. The morning I got off, I moved to Oxford, Mississippi. Okay. Moved from, I was living in the Gluckstadt area at the time. Moved to Oxford and, ran that store with my wife for about a year until we got married, moved back to Jackson, and opened our very own nutrition club in downtown Jackson. Okay. We had that nutrition club in downtown for about 2 years, had our first child, and I ran the nutrition club for about 6 months by myself after our first child. And that's where I met Greg, okay, is during this time frame, okay, or Coach or Mr. Piggott, okay.
Oh, you know me that long. You're calling me. You're saying my name wrong. You know it's Piggott.
Pygott, yeah, General Pygott. So, and this is where I met him, because a lot of times with entrepreneurship and building the business, it's first off, business doesn't just do this. No business in the world goes straight up. Okay, you're gonna have your ups and downs, your curves, things like that. And a lot in the trenches in the beginning, I would work at our business in downtown Jackson, and then at night I would go serve at Georgia Blue, and I was pouring money because trying to support a business and trying to support a new family. Okay, it's not just me and my wife anymore. So we, because of my checkered past, I had learned to survive on ramen. She didn't know how to survive on ramen, right? So that's a little pun I always throw out there. But anyway, so in order to build our business, I had to the serving and bartending became my side hustle to really pour back into my business and get it off the ground. All right. And I always knew that this was going to eventually take care of our family, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy. And I knew there were going to be times it was going to be long hours, both in store and long hours at night, trying to build this business. Okay. And network with people and things like that. So I was at Georgia Blue for probably 4 years in the beginning, and we've been doing this for 10 years. Okay. And consistently doing this together for 10 years, 10 and a half now, almost 11. But the first 4 years I had a side hustle to help build this business. And that's what, like, the money went to paying bills and back into our business. So, then we had the, everything, we had the wild hair to, we knew we had to take a chance, and had the opportunity to move to Colorado. And that's what we did. We packed up, found out we moved from Mississippi to Colorado all in a 2-week period, from decision to moving date, with 2 weeks. And we just jumped. Yeah. So, and we had some help from her family because they were going to let us stay with her and things like that until we found a place. So we had some help, but we dove all in and went out there and moved in with her parents, and we were with them for 6 months. But we found a location, a brick and mortar store there in Johnstown, Colorado, and that's where we had J-Town, and that's really when our business took off. And but I tell people this all the time: the business didn't take off because we moved to Colorado. The business took off because of those 4 years that we built in Jackson, Mississippi, in Ridgeland, and in Jackson, Mississippi. It was all that legwork before. So what you do in the beginning may necessarily ain't going to pay off right then, but what you're doing there is you're building on building blocks, and you're building momentum, and that's what happened when we got to Colorado. And we've just been extremely blessed by this business. And we were in Colorado for about 3 years, from 2019 to 2022. So yeah, we were there for 3 years, and then we had the opportunity again where we wanted to get back in the South. My wife is originally from Michigan and is used to the cold weather, but I say, and she's 33, and she would kill me if she heard me say this. I say she got old and cold, and she wasn't used to the cold weather anymore, and she needed to get back to the South. So we talked about it, we prayed about it, and ended up here in. We looked all over the South, and ended up in South Georgia. And we've been in Brunswick, Georgia for a little over a year and a half now, since April of 2022. And when we moved here, the first thing we looked for, we didn't look for a house. We looked for a brick and mortar location. And we looked for traffic flows and things like that. We got us an apartment, and got this business started here. And again, it's been a blessing here in Brunswick as well. So
that's awesome. Now, talk about what a nutrition club is, because, we see you drinking the tea. You talked about you do the shakes and you have the tea, and, you guys do a great job on social media showing, and on Google showing the different types of stuff you have. So there's a visual, obviously there's an aesthetic part of it. You want people to, this is cool, let me try this. And there's also the nutrition aspect. And I know you talked about the health aspects, because that's a big trend now, is eating healthier, eating cleaner, cleaning your kidneys. And I do it too. So talk a little bit about how that, the health side and the aesthetic side really have to mix for it to be successful.
Yeah. So hold on, my son's here. Hey, Bubba Doo, Daddy's on a call real quick. Give me a hug. I love that shirt. Okay. And this is another good part about being an entrepreneur is we get to build this business around our family as well. So it's just been great for us. And then with my wife, we get to go pick up our son every day and things like that. Yeah, that's great. It's the entrepreneur class that I'm doing this for. Yeah, she's sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, so but yeah, so no, yeah, so like I said, you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good. So that's what really got
Yeah,
me on.
man, what a great quote.
Yeah, like you don't know how bad you really feel until you start feeling good. So that's
Yeah.
what really got me. And like I said, I really noticed it. Like I said, I told y'all about the blonde in the beginning that I was chasing after, but like I really was feeling a difference in how I felt every day and my energy levels, and then the results I was getting by actually putting good nutrition in my body and things like that. So like I said, I started feeling good. I like to think I've always looked good, but that just wasn't the case. My I tell people all the time that Katie, she did a Build a Boo workshop. Um, she got me on the products and got some good nutrition in me, and really built her boo how she wanted him, right? But yeah, so we got our body. This is our body is the only place we have to live, so we need to take care of it, right?
Yeah.
So that was the big thing with me on the nutrition side. But on like the social media side, you want people to see what you have. And my wife, she does all of our social media stuff, and Google and things like that, and she does a really good job at it. You won't when so this is the thing when you go to the biggest thing I see or hear all the time is if you see the Wendy's commercial, your hamburger's not going to look like that when you go through the Wendy's drive-through.
That's a
Unfortunately,
great point. I
it's
agree.
not it's not going to look like what's on the commercial. Well, here at Port City Nutrition, that shake that she posts the picture of, that tea that she posts the picture of, it's gonna look like that. Okay, I'm gonna do my best and to make the best shake I make every day is gonna be the next one. Okay,
Absolutely.
and that's every one of them. I want the consistency. I want, and then we teach our staff as well. Hey, and I mean, we break it down to the basics. And I want somebody to be able to come in and get the same tasting great shake if Adam makes it, or if Leland makes it, or if Katie makes it, or if Walker makes it, or if Kylie makes it. Okay, I want the same the same consistency, and that's just what we hammer home here. And because it's important, consistency is important, and the people know what and we know people are choosing to spend money with us. They're choosing to support us. So we want to support them and give them the best product we can. Um, and so our teas that we call them teas, but as you can see, they look or taste nothing like tea, more like a beach drink or a fruit punch, just with zero sugar, right? They're sweetened with stevia. They're produced with green, black, and oolong tea, so it's all natural, and things like that give you great energy. And like I said, we're not around here sipping tea with a pinky out or anything like that. We just make healthy fun, okay? And that's the best part about it to me because I'm just at the end of the day, I'm just a good old boy from Mississippi. I know good food. And so if it doesn't taste good, I'm not gonna eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's cornbread and fried okra and catfish, and like we know good food in the South, and people in the South in general know good food, so they're not gonna come if it ain't good. So
Yeah.
not hating on this, but I'm not eating kale. You know what I'm saying? Like so
Now you made two interesting points there that I'm glad you mentioned. You talked about the consistency and training your staff. One thing we're doing right now in the class is mission and vision statements. And
yeah,
even if your mission and vision statement changes often, that's
yes,
something you have to have in your training because if you know, like you said, you were there all the time at first. If you ever want
yeah.
to have somebody else there for you, no matter what you're selling, that consistency has to always be there because then people are going to stop coming.
Yeah, and that's what we hammer home in the very beginning. First off, we don't just hire anybody. I mean, that's first and foremost. I mean, we, and I'll tell you now, and I didn't realize it. I mean, I did realize it, but I didn't realize how important it was. Like the first place when you're looking for a job, the first thing they're going to do is look at your social media. Okay, they want to know. You can tell a lot by someone's social media who you're hiring. So, like I said, and first and foremost, and I've grown over the years and become much better with this. But like, I just social media is social media. I don't take it serious. I'm not changing anybody's mind on anything else out there. You know what I'm saying? So there's no need in putting my mind on social media. Doesn't matter. Like, so I keep it fun. If it ain't about my family or about sports, whatever. I don't do it. You know, I throw food up there every now and then, but you can tell by my social media that I love my family. I love food. I love all sports, and I love hunting. So,
And you love Mississippi State.
and I love Mississippi State. So they don't love me back. They don't love me back by the way they play a lot, but I love Mississippi State. So, like I said, you can tell those things about me if you pull. So,
Yeah.
what can people tell about you if they pulled your social media up today? That's a big like, when somebody put it that way, it takes a step back and it makes me realize. So that's what we do first is we look at their social media and then we just sit down with them and we want to learn about them and we want to hear what their values are and make sure they line up with ours. And you know
That's
what
a
I'm
great
saying?
point.
We want to make sure they're in it for the right reason. Like, yes, and the thing I like to say is, I don't want somebody that's here just for money. Yes, I know there's bills to pay, and there's the old saying, money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. You know what I'm saying? So everybody needs it. So not everything, but it's up there with oxygen. So I'm not going to hate on somebody for wanting to come to work for money, but I want to make sure they're going to be a good fit for what we're doing, and we're here to make an impact on the community. Not only just your health, but like a positive impact on the community. We're big on giving back to all of our high schools in the area. We have two high schools, would be equivalent to the 6A high schools in Mississippi. And we do a bunch of sponsorships with all of them. So we like to give back to our community as much as we can. And in doing that, the community pours back into us. So,
Yeah. And
go ahead.
well, the other thing you mentioned that was, a great segue to that is you talked about people are choosing to spend money there. One thing I
Yeah.
always say is that an entrepreneur needs the customers more than the customer needs the entrepreneur. So you don't want to come in and run over you, and you don't want them to dictate how you do things, but you really have to meet their needs on what they want. You can't just think about, oh, I like this. That means everybody will like it. You have to know what your community wants and know what your community needs.
Yeah, and also like you just said, you want them right. You can't let them run over you and things like that. But yes, most certainly I need them more than they need me. Okay, let's be honest, and that's another big thing. While Katie and I are such huge, we're big proponents for building relationships with people, because let's be honest, you can go get an energy drink or a smoothie or something from a lot of different places, but what's going to keep them coming back here? It's going to be the faces and the hearts behind the bar. That's how we look at it. So we're looking to build relationships with you. I'm not just asking you, hey, what kind of do you want a combo today? You want a shake? You want a tea? Like, I'm not just asking that. I'm asking, hey, how was Josiah's basketball game? Like, I'm listening, and you said it best about not letting the customers run over you. I'll go ahead and correct the one statement. The customer is not always right, but they should always be happy. So, because we know that they're not always right, but they should always leave happy. But if they don't leave happy, we should do our best to make sure that, because you're not going to make everybody happy, but we should do our darndest to make sure we're making that person happy. So.
Yeah. Now, I think a big misconception, and I know you guys aren't going to get into the food area because that's a whole different licensing and taxes and things. But however, anytime there's anything that's consumed, drinks, obviously food, restaurant, bars, anything, you have to really look at not only the consistency, but you have to look at how things are presented, and you have to look at cost. Now, one thing I see a lot of entrepreneurs make, especially kids that come out of this class, is they just assume I can cook, I can open a restaurant, or, I'm just trying to be the lowest price. You can't price yourself out of a market because you're trying to be the cheapest. You can do things that allow you to charge more. If you can offer more, you can charge more, even if it's 50 cents more, if it's $1 more. If you're having 100 transactions a day, that's $100 more a day, even for just $1. So talk about the science into that, especially in an industry where people are putting things into their body.
Right. So this is the tricky one, because you can price yourself out of business both ways. Okay. I mean, it's a thin line that you have to find. You don't want to, if you're too low, everybody's going to come, but you ain't gonna make no money, because you gotta pay for the cups, you gotta pay for the straws, you gotta pay for the lids, you gotta pay for the stickers, you gotta pay for the lights, you gotta pay for the air, you gotta pay for the building. Okay, so it's not just about getting the product. Like you gotta, again, it's up there with oxygen. Money is, right. So and you can price yourself out of the market too, where not enough people are coming for you to pay for all the above things. So you have to bring value to the table, not just in the product, but in yourself as well. So you have to be of value to that, especially in today's economy and market. Okay. Because I don't care how much money you make, we're all holding on to it just a little bit tight because we're picking and choosing where we're having to spend it today. Okay. And it's in every state. I've lived in 8 states. Okay. It's everywhere. It's not just Mississippi, not just Georgia, not just Colorado. It's everywhere. So you want to make sure you're right. You find your sweet spot, and there is a science behind it, and you do look at competitors' prices and things like that. But another thing, I don't focus on competitors because I don't have a competitor because they're not gonna be able to offer you Adam Martin. They're not gonna be able to offer you Katie Martin, things like that. Again, I don't look at you as a transaction. I'm looking again. I go back to relationships, and when we focus on helping more people, people help us. So that's the big thing for us on that side of things.
Absolutely. Now, before I get to the students' questions, the first time you were with us, you had a quote that I use all the time,
Yeah.
and you
Where
talked
you
about
go?
improving. You talked about improving yourself, and always, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, I think it's
Right.
if you're just be a great employee, because some people don't want to take the risk, and that's fine. You can think like an
Yeah.
entrepreneur and be an unbelievable employee, but you said it was about getting 1% better every day. So why don't you share that quote with us?
So what it is, and I think it's just about being a human being. Okay. Just in general, if we strive to get 1% better every day, just 1% better than we were yesterday, at the end of the year, we've become 365% better than we were on January 1st. And just, I mean, imagine if you have 365 more dollars. Like if you look at it that way, you got 365 more dollars. But if you become 1% better every day for a year, you're 365% better. And as we get better, the things around us get better. Everything. And I can tell you right now, I can sit here and tell you the truth. It does. Because I'm not the same man that I was 10 and a half years ago that walked into that nutrition club in Ridgeland, Mississippi. And the reason I'm not, I thank God every day for it. And God has a lot to do with the man I am today. But I really went to work on myself. And another thing, if you go to work on your job, you can make a living. If you go to work on yourself, you can make a fortune.
Wow, man, I'm telling you, you got all the quotes.
I do my best, and like I said, I try. I take my personal development very seriously because I know that I can't control a lot of things around me, but I can always control my attitude and my mindset. So
Absolutely. Now I do have some questions from the students. This first one is Donovan Harris. He's a senior, one of our archery champions here at Velma Jackson. And he asked, when it comes to developing products, do you focus more on the health side or the aesthetic side?
I'm gonna say 50-50 on both. You want it to be your best product you can offer, definitely. But again, you want it to look good and you want it to look appetizing and you want it to be inviting. So I like to look at both. I'd say 50-50 really. That's I know that sounds like a generic answer, but no, you want it to be as healthy as you can make it, but you also want it to look really, really good too. So because that again, that I say it's all about building relationships, but they're at the end of the day, they're coming in to talk with me, but they're not coming in for me. They're coming in for that shake or that tea. So it is at the end of the day all about that, and it's got to be inviting, and then because they ain't gonna come in and spend anywhere from $8 to $17 every day just to talk to Adam. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be. I'm funny and I can talk. I can carry on a conversation all day, but they want a good product as well. So
Absolutely. I like this question. This is Christian Wolf. He's a senior, and he asked, "What has been the hardest part to transition from Mississippi to Colorado to Georgia?"
besides needing a winter coat in Colorado, the biggest difference, I would say, was just culturally in Colorado. It's just different. It's a different culture. I always tell people it would be easier for somebody from the South. So we'll take anywhere from South Carolina down in that southeast up to Tennessee area, that whole area, and then obviously Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, some parts of Texas, it would be easier for someone from the Southeast to move to Colorado than it would be for somebody from Colorado to move down south. And it ain't just because of the humidity. Okay. We just do. I mean, we're just different people down south. We are, y'all. We're a special kind of people. You open the door for somebody out in Colorado, they just look at you. They don't know what you're doing. You say yes, ma'am. They don't understand. Like I'm telling y'all, we got something special here in the South, and just in general in the South. And no matter where I go, Mississippi will always be home, and Mississippi holds a very, 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 very special place in my heart. Magnolia State is a very special place to me, and it's full of very special people. And we've had some heck of musicians and athletes come out of that state, but just all around great people come from Mississippi. So don't ever forget that, first and foremost. Don't think you have to get out of Mississippi to do something big.
Oh yeah, and we hear that from a lot of people. Just got one more. This is Braylon Carter. He's a ninth grade member of our band, and he asked, "What makes you choose this type of product and to focus only on these products?"
Because the science behind these products, the science and the doctors and the staff, the corporate staff that we have behind these products. The 17th U.S. Surgeon General is on our corporate staff, Dr. Richard Carmona.
Wow.
Dr. Richard Carmona is on our staff. We've got Dr. Hebert. Dr. Hebert's on staff. He was one of the head doctors at UCLA Medical. Dr. Lou Ignaro has won a Nobel laureate on his study of nitric oxide in the body. So anything you see out there on nitric oxide, it comes off of his research. So our athlete line is NSF certified for sport, which means like the board, the NSF board that reviews products for Olympic athletes, they've certified our products as 100% good for sport, meaning so when you see athletes that possibly have to sit out because they failed a drug test, most of the time it wasn't because they were doing a drug. It was something that came up in a supplement they took that traced back to a supplement. So that NSF certification is huge. And that was really what got my wife involved in this business, because she was an athletic trainer for Millsaps when she first started doing this. And she used to have to check the products, the labels of all that stuff that the football players were taking. And that NSF certification for sport was huge. And another thing is, so no supplement company is ever going to be approved by the FDA. It's because they're supplements. But our products are label all protected, which means what they're third party tested and label all protected, which means what's on the label is actually in the product. So that's why it's the science behind it. And like I said, our doctors and our staff are incredible. So
yeah, and then you look at the science. I mean, could you talk about the health benefits? You're able to do triathlons now, which you wouldn't even dreamed of doing just a few years ago.
No, and actually 2 weeks from yesterday, no, 2 weeks from this past Wednesday, I'm driving up to Boonesboro, Maryland, and I'm running, and the race is 2 weeks from tomorrow, but I'm running a 50-mile ultra marathon. So, yeah.
Wow.
And it'll be my third 50-mile ultra marathon that I've ever run. And I'm training for a 100-mile run in August in the back out in Colorado. So,
well, you can do it and tell me all about it.
Yeah, right.
Well, we're almost out of time, and as always, we thank you so much for joining us. Just such a great story and such great quotes and inspiration. But before we go, you're from right around here, Madison County Schools. You said yourself that you made some bad decisions and wound up in some bad situations, but yet you became extremely successful and are still going up when it comes to the business world. So, no matter what these kids' circumstance is now or where it will be after high school, why should they really not give up on their dreams if they have the dream to be an entrepreneur?
Because you can, and you have the opportunity, no matter what you do, to do great things. You can be the greatest employer for somebody else if you want, employee for somebody else if you want to. That's awesome. But the being an entrepreneur, it opens up so many avenues for you. Like I said, it's not going to be it's not peachy every day. It's not easy. Yes, um, your paycheck does depend on you, and that's why I think with the like I talked about the personal development and becoming better, you get to go to work on yourself every day, and it just and a lot of people think, oh, I work for myself. I'll just take off today. I mean, you can, but Christmas ain't gonna look that fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, our little boy, he ain't gonna have those shoes he wants if I just take off today. But like I said, it by no means is it easy, but you can provide a heck of a life for yourself, and it gives you that confidence at the end of that you did this, okay? You built something great, and you have the opportunity when you build something great. And again, not hating on anybody that goes to work for anybody else or anything like that, because I've worked for other people in my life, but this is something I can pass down to our son and lead and provide generational wealth and things like that. So that's the biggest reason for me. But then again, like I said, you go back to my past, and I whatever you go through in life, it doesn't have to hold you back. Your circumstances, where you come from, like none of that matters. What matters is what's inside of you, and how hard you're willing to work to make a change. And I had to work real hard. I was down there. Like, it's not easy for a convicted felon. Okay, it's not. You can either and then some places won't even. Some places you can't even go work at fast food restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's hard. Like I'll be honest with y'all. And I know we're running out of time, but I mean, to this day, if I wanted to, I can't put my name on an apartment application and get an apartment because I'm a convicted felon. But you know what? I can go to work every day, make an impact in my community, and change lives that way. So,
Absolutely.
that's the biggest thing for me. But if I can do anything, just encourage everybody just to do that 1% better every single day. That's what I can encourage you to do.
Man, love to see it. Love to hear it, man. It's always a pleasure. So good to see you. Next time you're in town, we got to see you. But
For sure.
Adam Martin, Brunswick, Georgia, J-Town Nutrition, there on the eastern
We're
seaboard
Port
coast.
City now. J-Town was Colorado. We're Port City.
Dead gummit. I got them backwards.
I told you we still have
Port City.
Yeah.
Port City Nutrition, Brunswick, Georgia. Thank you so much for joining us
Real
as
quick
always.
before you get off though, you're big on your sports trivia. Two professional athletes from Brunswick High School. Go.
I have no idea.
All right, we've got Big Play Slay, Darius Slay for the Philadelphia Eagles. Brunswick High School, played at Mississippi State, and then we have a former first round #1 pick, LA Lakers, Kwame Brown.
He sure was, but he went to high school in Washington D.C. before he.
There you go.
Yeah,
but Brunswick,
in
Brunswick,
Virginia,
Georgia. You're correct.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, man, it's always a pleasure, and I know you're in Georgia, but Hail State.
There we go. See, that's the best part. I can say go Dogs and get away with it here.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.